The night air in Elbergen was crisp, carrying the distant hum of motorbikes and the occasional burst of laughter from the dimly lit streets. It was January 18th, 2025, a match day.
And it's time again for Arsenal, still the iconic fixture of the Premier League era.
Arsenal was facing Aston Villa, and Richard Otieno wouldn't miss it for anything. He left his wife at home, stepping out into the cool night with his signature confident stride. A die-hard Arsenal fan, he had watched them through the highs and lows. Tonight, he was in high spirits, expecting a big win. As he made his way to the dugout, a popular club in Elbergen, he had no idea that his every move was being watched. A few meters away, Peter Oketch sat on his motorbike, helmet half-tipped back. He watched Otieno disappear into the night. Behind him, Kariuki leaned against a wall, puffing on a cigarette, exhaling slowly, as if savouring the moment. "That's him," Oketch muttered. Kariuki nodded, pressing his phone to his ear. "He's on the move. Keep eyes on him." Down the street, two boda riders revved their engines, blending into the town's usual night buzz. They didn't need to follow him closely. Otieno was predictable. He always watched Arsenal games at the dugout. And tonight, they would watch with him. Inside the dugout, the last celebration. The club was packed, filled with the electric energy of football fans. The smell of grilled meat, alcohol, and sweat mixed in the air. Richard Otieno found his usual spot, greeting familiar faces. "Leo Tunachukwahi game," he declared confidently. Among the crowd, Peter Oketch and Kariuki had already taken seats, blending in effortlessly. They clinked their bottles, occasionally nodding at Otieno as if they were just fellow fans enjoying the game. Little did he know, the men sitting just a few tables away weren't there for the football. They were there for him. The match kicked off at 8:30 p.m. Arsenal started strong, dominating possession. By half-time, Arsenal was leading 1-0 against Aston Villa. Otieno cheered loudly, throwing his arms up in frustration when a shot went wide. The game had his full attention. He had no reason to suspect that the men near him weren't watching the screen, but watching him. The second half flew by. Arsenal added another goal, making it 2-0. Otieno was ecstatic. He was sure there was no miracle that could make Arsenal lose or even draw the game. Then, disaster struck. In the 60th minute, Belgian national player Tielemans received a beautiful pass from Digna and scored. 8 minutes later, Cash prepared another precise pass and Watkins equalised. 2-2, a devastating turn of events. Otieno's good mood evaporated. He slammed his drink on the table, shaking his head in disappointment. Arsenal had let him down. He paid his bill, shook hands with a few friends, and checked the time. It was past midnight. Time to head home. Peter Oketch sent a quick message. "Target leaving." Outside, a boda rider fired up his engine. Otieno walked out of the dugout, humming to himself, the adrenaline from the game still in his system. He didn't notice the man across the street speaking in hushed tones. He took the familiar route home, his hands in his pockets, still brooding over the match. His breath was visible in the cold night air. Two motorbikes lurked in the shadows, trailing him at a distance. He turned the last corner, his house just ahead. The gate was closed, as always. He reached into his pocket for the keys. A gust of wind rustled the trees. Then, footsteps. He barely had time to react. A hand grabbed his shoulder roughly. Before he could turn, a sharp pain exploded in his ribs. His breath hitched. He stumbled forward. Another blow, this time sharper, deeper. He gasped. His knees buckled. Behind him, Oketch and Kariuki stood over him, their faces void of emotion. The boda riders kept the engines running. This had to be quick. Otieno struggled to speak, his eyes wide with shock met Oketch's for a brief moment. "Why?" he whispered. No answer. The night swallowed the sound of the retreating motorcycles. Silence. His wife inside the house heard the noise from outside. But by the time she reached the gate, all she found was her husband lying in a pool of blood. Aftermath. By morning, news spread like wildfire. An Arsenal fan, a community man, a brother, murdered at his own gate. And the killers? His own people? Men from the lakeside? Betrayal for a price. Peter Oketch and his accomplices fled to Tanzania the following day, escaping into the shadows of a foreign land. How much is a brother's life worth? Pushed 300,000 on split among 6 men? Was it worth it? This is where we must ask ourselves, how did we get here? How do we keep doing this to our own? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And remember, some games are bigger than football.
Fast forward to today, authorities have identified Peter Oketch, alias DJ I0, as the suspected mastermind behind the brutal and cold-blooded murder of Molo activist Richard Raymond Omolo, widely known as the Molo President. Chilling CCTV footage captures Oketch and 2 accomplices meticulously planning the ambush, carefully mapping out every detail before making a daring escape to neighbouring Tanzania. However, their run from justice was short-lived. Police have since arrested the trio, and investigators are closing in on other suspects, including the financiers believed to have orchestrated the entire assassination plot. According to detectives, this was not a random act of violence. It was a premeditated, calculated hit, allegedly ordered by an unidentified individual who contracted Oketch to execute the killing. In turn, Oketch recruited 2 other suspects, boda operators and hawkers, who were enticed with the promise of a lucrative payout in exchange for their role in the assassination. The deal? A total of 300,000 Kenya shillings to eliminate Omolo. But the grim reality was far from the promised reward. Initially, each participant received a meagre 3,000 Kenya shillings. Later, an additional 5,000 Kenya shillings was disbursed, bringing their total payout to an insulting 8,000 Kenya shillings per person for their role in the heinous crime. Lead investigator Inspector Patrick Wachira, in an affidavit seeking additional time to pursue critical leads, detailed how Oketch enlisted Joseph Kihara Kariuki and Evans Asaka to assist in carrying out the deadly mission. The 3 were apprehended in Molo Town on February 23rd, following a detailed digital forensic analysis that placed them at the scene of the crime. Further investigations have uncovered an even more sinister dimension to this case. A well-connected blogger, allegedly linked to the financier, is said to have played a crucial role in identifying Omolo as the target and guiding the assassins to him. This suggests a well-coordinated effort involving multiple actors, each playing a specific role in executing the plan. Following Omolo's murder, the suspects fled to Tanzania, where they sought refuge with extended family members. However, their hideout was short-lived. Upon their return to Kenya, authorities moved swiftly, apprehending them and initiating legal proceedings. Police have now petitioned the court to detain the suspects for 21 days as they continue gathering crucial evidence. Investigators are conducting forensic procedures, including DNA collection, identification parades, and statement recordings. Advanced geolocation data has further cemented the case against them, definitively placing them at the scene of the crime on January 18th, the day Omolo was ambushed and killed in Elburgon. The latest arrests bring the total number of suspects in custody to 9. Meanwhile, law enforcement is intensifying efforts to track down the financiers and other key beneficiaries of this crime. Disturbingly, sources reveal that beyond the promised cash reward, the assassins were also offered a parcel of land as part of their payment. This chilling revelation underscores the deep-seated conspiracy and the extent to which human lives are being traded for material gain. Initially, the court approved the detention of 5 suspects, later adding 1 more to the list. Now, the trio of Oketch, Kariuki and Aseka are set to appear before Principal Magistrate Kipkurui Kibelian for plea taking on Wednesday, March 5, 2025. In the meantime, the court has granted police an additional 10 days to finalize their investigations before formally filing charges. Authorities are committed to ensuring that all those involved, whether the foot soldiers or the powerful masterminds financing such heinous crimes, are brought to justice. But beyond this specific case lies a deeper, more unsettling question. Why are we witnessing a disturbing pattern of assassins turning against their own? Not long ago, the nation was left reeling from the murder of Wells Fargo heir Willis Otieno. Who were the hitmen? Men from Luoland, brothers who betrayed their own kin for money. And now history repeats itself. Another Luo, Richard Otieno, has been murdered. And by whom? Peter Oketch, a Luo once again. My brothers from the lakeside, what are we doing? Why are we selling our own for blood money? Are we so blinded by desperation that we would trade the lives of our own people for a few thousand shillings? Where is our unity, our honor, our conscience? We must take a hard look at ourselves and reflect deeply on this unsettling trend. The enemy is not among us. It is the unseen forces manipulating us, using money to turn us against each other. If we do not break this cycle, who will be next? And for how much? Let us rise above these dark schemes. Let us protect, not betray one another. For no amount of money can ever justify the blood of our own. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. Why are we turning against our own, and who really benefits? Subscribe to Lifelens TV and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the truth behind the headlines. Together we expose the facts, challenge the narratives, and shape the future. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay united. See you in the next one.